Hey everyone, many of you were asking for a detailed tutorial about my Nebula artworks. I've been preparing these and we will cover how to do Nebulas in Houdini and of course keep it simple and easy to learn for everyone, from beginner to advanced users. We will divide these into 3 tutorials. In the first part, create an abstract Nebula with simple VOP nodes. In the second part, we will learn how to add details and custom forms to our Nebulas. And in the end, the third part, we will cover how to render them with Redshift and how I do post-process in After Effects. As you may know, all my projects are available on Patreon, and this series of Nebula tutorials will be added to my Retrieve store, where you can see the tutorials with voiceovers and subtitles. Hope you enjoyed this series. Let's have some fun with volume, particles, and a lot of noises. Let's go! Okay, let's start our project with a simple box, so we can create a custom volume with some turbulence on the density, and you'll see this is pretty simple on this first one. So let's go and jump into this one. Let's increase a bit size, maybe 20, just to have a big nebula. Okay. On the start, this will look a bit low res. But you'll see that everything will work. So let's create a volume. Let's go by size. I like to fix on this, and let's create a volume called density. Okay, if we go here on Y, we see density. And let's use a volume pop so we can use a noise to create our density. So let's go volume VOP. And let's play with noises. To create nebulas, the type of nebulas that I really enjoy to create, it's all having fun with noises, okay? So let's start by placing a turbulence noise and a ramp so we can, customize a bit more the noise. Okay, so we are going to link the position, go to this noise. Okay, and this ramp will output a value from 0 to 1. Let's go to fine ramp and then control the density. Let's just go to create input parameters so we can play outside. Right now, let's go with linear and you see something. So that noise is controlling the density. So the black, where is black, we have no density, and where is white, when you see a little bit of density, we got some density values, right? So you can tweak this a bit, just like add a bit of contrast. And let's decrease the frequency so we have a bigger noise, something like this. So this is up to you where you want, if you want to move a bit the offset or something, if you like that, if you want a cloud to be in the middle or something like that, it's up to you. And don't mind this because we are using a box, you see those hard edges, because we are going to scatter some points and add a lot of turbulence. Don't mind that. On the amplitude, you increase the higher values, right, and the dark values. But you can see we got more of cloudy belowish shape. I like this one. Let's increase, not cut out those many points. Okay, and I can see that we got a lot of smoke, so let me decrease a bit the frequency. Okay, so we have bigger. Right now I'm just a bit of art directing. So that is cool. If you want, you can lower the roughness or increase this a bit just to have little points. I hope you can see them. Let's turn off the grids because we are working in space, so we don't mind that. And let's scatter some points. On the scatter, we are going to use really big numbers. So first of all, turn off relax because that brings a lot of computation, and turn off max points. We want to be freely and increase these numbers. Right now, let's work with 50,000. Okay. So we have a lot of points. And now let's save the starting position, and you will understand why after. So let's put a point triangle, and let's just create a simple vector with starting position that is the current position. Why are we doing this? Because we are going to use the position to create a color. And we are going to give turbulence, and if we give color before adding the turbulence, we will be able to create like a river of colors, and that will make a lot of sense in a bit. So before, instead of explaining by words and complicating a bit, I'm going to show you. So right now we have points, so let's put point pop. Oops, point pop, not point pop. And let's turn this on, and let's copy this just in case I don't mess up the writing. Let's bring that new parameter, and let's delete this one and go with vector. So right now we are importing that new parameter that we created with Wrangle. If I press I, we can see that it's a 3 vector with floats. Okay, and now let's use some turbulence to give some color, a random color. Let's go wire to position and 1D noise, and link this to a ramp. Cool. And link this to the colors. Let me just organize a bit better for you guys to see. Okay, let's do the same, create input parameters, but you need to click that. Come on, work with me. Okay, Houdini is trolling me. Let's go give another chance. Okay. So now let me bring another color like Inferno, turn off that, and maybe go something like this. And let me think about it. Let's increase the amplitude so we can get those points. Let's go just with 2. And now let's increase this. So as you can see, we have bigger shapes with bigger colors, something like this. So we got some nuclears there. Okay, like the hot car of that nebula. And let's increase this a bit. We are going with 50,000. Let's go with 500,000. Okay, so we can see a bit better. That's cool. And now let's place another point fob. So let's name it color. Now let's create another one. That is going to be a turbulence major. We are going to apply different turbulence. Okay, this one will be a normal turbulence just to deform a lot this square, this cube that we can see with those hard edges. So right now we are not going to use the starting position and not the ramp. We are going to use a turbulence to displace our current position. So let's link this here. Okay, and then let's go with 3D noise. This is a 3D noise. And let me think about it. Let's go with the add. Where is it? Place it somewhere. Okay, let's add that noise to our current position and deform. You can see something going on already. And let's go with a really low frequency, something like 0.1. Let's crank this up really, really big, something like 50. Okay. So as you can see, we are deforming a lot. You can play this, getting some different results. Another thing that I like to do is just leave this to 2, and instead of increasing the amplitude, we can add a parameter, and let's call it turbulence force. Oops, sorry, you can't see. Turb force, and this is going to be a simple float that can multiply the noise. So let's put a multiply. Let's link first the vector and then the float and wire this to this one. Okay. So now let's go up and now we have this turbulence. You can see it's easier to check this out. And I think that's pretty cool. We are getting something. Maybe let's go with this. This one looks cool. Okay. And by now you can see why we are adding the color before, because we are pushing those colors and not giving the colors after. If we give the colors after, let me wire these without using the starting position. You can see the difference of this, right? If you give colors after the noise, you can get that line of colors like you are getting here, right? And these are gases that they have color, and then we are pushing some gases and making these kind of flows. It's really different than you pick up a noise color and put on top. This is not really organic, and I think that's even better. Okay, much better. So give the color before, and of course this one you could use this position, but you will understand why we are using a starting position. So we have here something really cool, and if you want you can come here and add another turbulence, but now let's call it minor. And let's experiment with the different noise. Let's go with something like, let's go with anti-aliased flow. Let's go with this one and multiply here. And this one, I want to be a 3D noise input. That is cool. And let's go action, not actions, vex options, and create input parameters. And let's play here the turbulence. Okay. Maybe this one is not that cool for now. That one will be really major, but not for now. Let's unify. I don't want to use unified because it's really heavy. Let's go with flow noise. Sorry, I just trying stuff. Let's go with turbulence because I want to use this one only on the last one. So let's go again with turbulence. Sorry about that. And let's go with 3D noise. And let's link everything again. Sorry, as you can see, this is normal. We just keep doing stuff. And let's go again, create input parameters. And here I want to, this is a minor turbulence, so we have a higher frequency, but a less turbulence force, okay? On this one, as you can see, we are using, let's go with 14, keep round numbers. This one will be really less. Maybe we could increase the frequency. Let me see. Something like that. Let's keep the roughness high and then break a bit. And let's change this to maybe Perlin noise. Okay, we can see those noises. Just to break a little bit the shape, okay? Maybe even less. Just to break a bit. Just tiny details. Okay, that's pretty cool. Let me check somewhere close. That is nice. I think that shape is really cool. And of course, if you want, you can always come here and try to get a different shape as you want. Okay, I think that's cool. And maybe increase this even more. And let's try another one. Just trying. Oops, where is it? Okay. And maybe let's increase this a bit. Let's go with the cube. Let's increase to 30. So let's go back. Because this is procedural, we can always come and decrease this a bit more. Okay, cool. Let's see that shape. So we are scattering, we are saving the points, giving color. Let's bring this something to have really big hot cores. And now let's turbulence. That's cool. And do a tiny one. Let's go here and decrease this even more. Okay. Now, one thing that I like to do, just to see on the viewport, is just add alpha to our points. So let's just create an alpha, and the viewport will update with it, and you will see that will look much different, and that looks more like a cloud. And you can even press D geometry and even decrease this. Okay, that is really different from what we were seeing before, right? So you can see the dark colors. You mainly only see the hot points. This will be more closer to your rendering. Okay, and right now I'm not really enjoying this. Still need to get that sweet spot. Okay, that looks cool. And now we can increase the particles. Let's go to 1,500,000. You start getting something, right? Really cool. But now there is a really simple trick that is the type of noise. That's why I didn't want to use here. It's the flow noise really gives that nebula vibe. As you can see on my videos, there are some type of veins going around. And right now you don't see much of that. You only see like gas, some type of gas, right? Random gas. So you will see that if we give another point pop, as I said on the intro, this one will be really simple. Okay. So we are keeping everything simple. And on flow noise, let's give the flow anti-aliased flow noise. Okay. And let's go again with the stuff I said. We did already. Let's go with flow force. And it is a float that can be like, I don't know, 100. Let's go add. Let's multiply. Let's switch this to 3D noise because that's really important. And link. Always have the vector first and the float next on the second. Okay, that's really important. Because if we wire like this, we are applying the multiply of this float to each to x, y, and z on the vector from the noise. Okay, if you wire these differently, like the flow force, the float on the first parameter, this will break. Okay, because we are multiplying the force and not the vector. So the vector should be on the first spot. And I forgot to create inputs. So right now, let me try and show you. As you can see, let me just go copy parameter so I can just change this one. So as you can see, if I start increasing this, you will start to see those veins. As you can see here, you can already see those veins because this is a flow. Increase the flow. You can see a lot of those veins. Right now it's much. As you can see, this is really tricky to do. So with a bigger flow noise, let's keep it like 15. Okay, as you can see there. With a really low frequency, let's go with, I think 0.1 was cool. Of course, on this one, you can decrease a bit Okay, let's go on this one, 0.4. Okay, we have more of those lines, those flow lines. That's pretty cool, right? Let me show you the difference so we can just bypass. So this was with simple noises, and just by adding the flow noise, we can get those flow lines, and those are pretty cool, right? Those are really good. And of course, this is the major one. And if you want to give more details, you can wire this in. Now let's go with a minor. Let's change randomly the flow. Now let me just go with 0.5. It's a little tiny and go to 1. And here, let's go to 50. Let me increase this just to give those tiny, tiny, tiny details. Let me try and go here, and okay, that's cool. You can see those tiny details. So with the major one, we give the bigger flows, and with the minor, we give tiny details, as you can see here. I think if we increase this, we get more of those flows. Okay, that's cool. But now I see that the frequency is way too big for my taste. Okay, let me show the difference. That's pretty cool. Even now, it's still way too big for my taste. Maybe now it's way too small. Okay, that's cool. And can we increase the roughness a bit? Okay, and as you can see, that looks more like a nebula, right? Other than a noisy a gas with points. That's pretty cool. And now, of course, we can increase the scatter even more, like go to 10 million. And let's see how it looks. Of course, now it's applying all the turbulence. And you can see that is pretty cool. And you can see those colors, right? Remember, if we add turbulence and then let me show you and use the current position, you can see the difference. Oops. You can see the difference, right? You don't get those lines. You still get those blue round cores. And even if you zoom out, you can see the turbulence color there. And I think like this, if you add the colors before, it's way much better. Okay. So this is, I want to keep this simple and break in different parts. Okay. One other thing that you might want to do for now is like we created our nebula, our main nebula, and sometimes it's good to give a depth, sense of depth on the space. And instead of creating another system, you can just come here. Let's transform. Okay. Let's merge everything. So we can see with alpha because it's really different to see with alpha. Okay. And let's increase this like 5. We have a big one. Let's randomly rotate this. Okay. And let's move this a bit to the back. So let's go here. And I like to put another transform. So one is for rotate and scale. And one is just to translate. And this one, oops, I want to move this to the back. So let's go to Z. And let's see how it looks. So imagine, and maybe I'll do that. We have a camera here, panning, moving, and we have that on the background doing some cool parallax. Okay. And other thing that you might want, and that now you will understand why we are saving, is maybe the background nebula, this one, we don't want that hot cars there. I'm calling it hot cars because it's yellow and white. Okay, so the black one, the background nebula, maybe we just want those purples, those pinkish, and we don't want much. That's why right now we are going to use that saving color, that saving position that we use this. So we were saving the starting position and now using that starting position to change the color. Okay, so right now, we already did that. So as I said, we don't want that hot cars, and maybe bring that to 1, and this pinkish to maybe 6, decrease the amplitude, and change randomly the offset. Okay, let me bring up again. Okay, so as you can see, we have a background nebula that has a bit of different color. Not those. We are still in the art concept, right, with the same colors, but it is on the background. We can even increase this a bit, like 10. Okay, and let's move it somewhere else. Let's push this up. Okay, that is cool. And now we have this, right? And we want to play with the camera. One thing that I like to do, not just pressing the camera, I like to place a null where it is easier to control. So this will be the cam target. Okay, and then link this to a camera. And let me switch the UI so we can see always the camera here on the down. And I want to be sure that our geometry is using like 2 pixels size. Okay, and right now let's boost this a bit on the Z. And now I can just rotate. I can just rotate here and you'll see this is panning. So right now, let me turn off this. Let's even increase this a bit just to know where I am. Okay, let's position that null in a sweet spot. So let me just try to get a nice position. Maybe, look, this is cool. And something like that. Or even flip this. Trying just to get a nice spot. Still not getting what I want. Let me just heal this a bit, just to see the middle one, so we can get a nice spot in the middle. Oops, here. Just go 0, 0, 0. We can focus a bit again. Okay, that looks cool. Let me place another null. Sometimes it's easier to try. You can see this is just art directing. You can always right click and change this to world. So it's easier. I'm trying just to get a nice spot. This is cool. This is cool. Hmm. I want to grab this one. It looks cool. And of course, we can increase this a bit. Okay. So let's go with just 90 frames just to be quicker. And let's animate this. And I like to use linear. Okay. So let's go linear and linear. We are not moving the translate. We are just rotating this. So let's go and now to the last part, to the last frame. And take like this. Maybe it's this one. Just a bit. Okay. So let's link this and let's see the main one. That is cool. And of course you can animate this Z. Let me go like, just check what we could do. If we better zoom in or zoom out. Okay, nice. So let's go with 60. And again, let's go with linear. Linear. And just zoom out a bit. Maybe that's too much. Okay, let's see how it looks. Very cool. Let's increase again the nebula size, the scatter points. Let's go with 50 million. Right now, this number depends on your computer, on your RAM, and later on your GPU when you are going to render. My workstation, only the limit is almost 200 million particles, so it depends on your computer. Okay, so as many points as you can get, the better, the better look it will have at the end. On the part 3, we will cover the render part with Redshift, and then on After Effects, how you post product that, how I like. But yeah, again, as many points as you can get on scatter, the better. Of course, it always depends on your workflow. On the part 2, I'm going to teach you a little nice trick just to keep those low and then multiply after. But for now, let's keep it simple, scatter, and then apply all the turbulence. So let's see how it looks now. I think it's pretty cool. We have those like ghosts, flames, or those flames going around. That's cool. And now we are missing the background one. Let's link this here. And the background might be off because we changed a lot the camera. So let's see where the background is. So right now, let me try and find the camera. We try and move this one. Okay, now it's taking a bit of more time. So what I'm going to do is creating a simple switch so we can change these things faster. Okay, but let's see. Okay, nice. As you can see, that one is on the background, so it's moving way less than the front one. But let me just come, to the scatter. And let's kill it a lot. Oops, now I don't see. That's too much. Let's go with 5 million. Okay. And now this one, let's try maybe get the alpha so I can see those on the back. And maybe on the translate, move it back. Move that. I'm trying to figure out where the back is. do it would be easier to see the camera. Let me try and grab the camera. So the camera is pointing that way. Okay. You see? How is the camera? So the camera is looking at that. Okay, so we are seeing that part on the background. So right now, let's go here and translate that. It's like this. And move a lot. As you can see, this can be a bit overkilled. Now I push it to way too back. Okay, that was too much. Good. Okay, looks like I'm killing it. Okay, getting some. Okay. And I don't really like the shape of it. Right, and randomize. Just trying to find a nice spot to be on the background. Okay. Let's look how it's really far on the back, as you can see. And now let's check with that and let's save it before I lose everything. And now let's go with 60 million. Let me count 60 million. Okay, that's almost the limit of my computer while recording. So let's see how this behaves. So let's see how it looks now. Go up. Okay, we have a lot of points now. And let's see how the camera looks. You can see that one, even on render, it will look like the background one. We can like decrease the color. Right now we don't have lights or anything. We are going to work that on the part 3. And we have a pretty cool nebula. There are a lot of details here. That's cool. And let me flip book this so we can see how it looks. Go size, go with full HD. And let's see how it looks. And right now, I like to render like 90 frames and then give a slow motion on After Effects. On third part, we will cover that. But as for now, as you can see, it looks pretty cool. Let me just like 10 frames per second. And let's see how it looks in a bit. That's pretty cool. Imagine these ones on the back more dark. So we could do that. We just fix that. Just see on the viewport how it will look on the render a bit better. Okay. Because we will have more lights on the first, on the top one. So right now, let's decrease a bit the colors or darken them up a bit. Okay, now it's processing a lot of colors. This one. Let's give it a few times because it's 60. 60 million points, so it's a bit more too much for my computer. Okay, let's darken even a bit. And this one just a tiny bit. A tiny bit. Okay, much better on the viewport. But when we render, we will keep the same colors. Okay. Let's go back and let's see it again. Let me increase this one, this window, and keep it small, just like a tiny viewport. Just see how it looks. And we could add a bit of stars, but not for now. Let's wait a bit. Let's see how it looks. Okay, this is too fast. Let's go with 10. And of course, now we can see that jumping, but on After Effects with a nice plugin, we can get a really nice slow motion. That looks pretty cool. One other thing that I experienced a lot, and on Nebulas it's really important, is the black space. Okay, don't fill out everything with colors. Okay, it's important to have those little gaps. Okay, those black spots, because you are on space and you are not filling everything with gas and nebula stuff. Okay, so for this first part, let's keep it at this point with a random one, right? A random abstract nebula. As you can see, this was my collection. We focus now on creating abstract collections like this one. Let me show you. This is what we learn now to create abstract nebulas. And the next ones, on the second part, we will learn how to create, like, you have a shape in mind, and let's create a nebula following that shape. How we can use pyro simulations into this and creating nice nebulas with a nice concept and an idea behind. Okay, not just random. Random is cool. I love the random ones, but try to give more of a personal concept behind the nebula. I love this one is one of my favorite. This one, this one, this one. Okay, the next one we will see how to detail a bit the nebula as we want with pyro simulations. A little bit of tricks to render really high number of particles. And then on the third part, we will see how to export these into After Effects and then play a bit with the post-productions. I'm not the expert in that, but I'm going to teach the best way I can, okay, my workflow. And I really hope you enjoyed this one, just to keep it simple and we can recap everything. So we created a box, right? We created a box, we created a volume. We created a noise like a cloud with the volume VOP, scatter points, save the starting position so we can tweak the colors after, okay, after all the turbulence. Give those major turbulence just to break the box form, okay, and get that initial shape. And then add flow noise so we can get those veins that are really typical on a nebula. That's really different, as I showed you. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope you are looking for the second part. It's going to be really cool, exploring pyro simulation or even particle simulations and create these shapes. Okay, this one you can see it looks like a flower. This one were like two energies combining on the start, and this one I just want a vortex around a middle one. Okay, hope you enjoyed this one and see you on the next one. Bye bye.